Hello guys, how are we doing? Welcome back to another video. Today I've got Game Week 44 of the Championship review for you, and this one's coming out slightly later than usual as there were two games in midweek which did have quite a big significance both at the top and the bottom of the table. So yeah, plenty to get through, so let's get started. Okay, so looking at our results and predictions this week, so also had two games midweek. That was between Nottingham Forest and Barnsley, and Derby and Cardiff, so I'll be getting to them towards the end of the video. But yeah, so for the Saturday, or the Friday-Saturday games, we had Millwall lost to Fulham on the Friday night 3-0, Birmingham beat Sheffield United, Wolves sealed the title with a win against Bolton, Brentford beat QPR, Bristol City drew 5-5 with Hull, Derby lost at home to Borough, Ipswich lost 4-0 at home to Villa, Leeds beat local rivals Barnsley, Preston drew a blank against Norwich, Sheffield Wednesday beat Reading, Sunderland lost at home to Burton, and Cardiff beat Nottingham Forest. Starting with the Friday game between Millwall and Fulham, this was a game between two teams unbeaten in, I think Millwall was at 15 games and Fulham 22 games, so something had to tell, and it was Fulham who picked up the win. Cagey first half, but 3 goals in the second half from Ryan Sessegnon, Kevin McDonald and Mitrovic, sealing a great win for Fulham, their 4th win in 5 games, initially moving them up to 2nd, although Cardiff put them back down to 3rd later on. Millwall managed to keep their place in the playoffs though. Massive game for them next, away to Middlesbrough. For Birmingham at the bottom of the table against playoff chasing Sheffield United. Sheffield United took the lead early on, but Birmingham came back strong and managed to get a crucial 2-1 win for them in their fight to stay up, and it was another blow to Sheffield United's playoff hopes. A big game for them next as well against Preston at home, and Birmingham travel to QPR. Wolves sealed the title in good fashion with a 4-0 thumping over Bolton, where it just remained just above that relegation zone, and 4 defeats out of 5 for them, but a massive game against Burton Albion for them, whereas Wolves looking to get 100 points now. They host Sheffield Wednesday. An important win for Brentford, or a West London derby win as well for them against QPR. They went 1-0 up, then missed a penalty, and then QPR equalised through Sear, but Brentford managed to find a way to win the game and recorded their 4th win in 5 and late playoff charge, just keeping it going for the time being. Tricky game for them next, Barnsley away, who are fighting survival, whereas for QPR it's a home game against Birmingham. In a quite remarkable game between two very high scoring sides, as you can see, it finished 5-5, and wow. Hull took the lead, and then Bristol were 3-1 up, then 4-2 up, then Hull were 5-4 up, and then Bristol managed to equalise in the last minute to make it 5-5. So yeah, what can I really say? That was a good entertainment for the crowd, let's just say. But yeah, Hull home game against Cardiff next, was Bristol City just looking to see if they can sneak into the playoffs away at Forest. A big win for Middlesbrough in their playoff push, beating Derby by 2-1 and maintaining 5th position, and also picking up their 3rd win in 4 going into that big game against Millwall. As for Derby, this was their 3rd straight defeat in a row, and they faced Cardiff next on the Tuesday night, which I will get into towards the end of the video. A comfortable win for Aston Villa against Ipswich, and that was Villa recording their 4th victory in 5, and although it doesn't do much for their automatic playoff hopes, of course just keeps them in good form for the actual playoffs themselves. As for Ipswich, well, they had a player sent off on I think the 40th minute, which just sort of killed the game for them, but it's between Ipswich, Norwich and Leeds for who gets 12th place now, so yeah, I guess you could say that's what they are playing for. A damaging defeat for Barnsley against local rivals Leeds. It was a good win for them. I think that was their first win in 6 games, and keeps them in 12th position, so winning that battle at the moment. As for Barnsley, this left them still in the relegation zone, and they should say Forest away on the fixture, but yeah, they got Brentford at the weekend. It was a bore draw at Deepdale between Preston and Norwich. Preston just about had the better of the play, but couldn't find a way past Norwich, who just 1 win in 5 and 2 draws, and that kind of sums up the season for us. Preston travel to Sheffield United next, a big game for them, and Norwich have a pretty good big game as well in the fight for 12th place at home to Leeds. A good win for Sheffield Wednesday, who continued their recent good form. I think that's 4 wins in 6 for them now, so just creeping up and possibly try to finish as high as possible now. A tricky game though for them next against Wolves and Reading, who not quite safe yet, still work to do. They host Ipswich. Sunderland's fate was sealed by Burton Albion and Darren Bent to snatch the 3 points and keep their faint survival hopes up, and they've got a big game against Bolton next, so you never know. And as for Sunderland, it doesn't really get any easier for them. It's an away game at Fulham. In the late game of the day, Cardiff got a vital win against Nottingham Forest, with Morrison and Gunnarsson getting on the second win in a row, and they travelled to Derby on Tuesday, and yes, we all know what happened there. And Forest hosted Barnsley on Tuesday, so I'll be getting into both of those games next. But yeah, this was a big result for top two. Moving on to that big game on Tuesday, Derby triumphed 3-1 against Cardiff, and that was a massive win for them as it got them back into the top six by a couple of points. And yeah, Cameron Jerome getting on the score sheet twice there, and yes, vital for them, but it doesn't get any easier. An away game against Aston Villa for them, and not really for Cardiff either, I'd say. With the amount of goals Hull are scoring, that certainly won't be easy. But they do maintain second, and if they do win their final two games, they will be promoted. So the task hasn't really changed for Cardiff. It just can't afford to drop any more points. In the other game, it was Nottingham Forest against Barnsley, and this was a good chance to Barnsley to gain some momentum on their rivals, but they failed to take it and slipped to a third defeat in 4 games, leaving them in the bottom 3. As for Forest, well, 2 wins in 3 for them, and just starting to creep back up the table, but a little too late for them, and not easy for either of these sides next home games against Bristol City and Brentford. Okay, looking at our summary then, so result of the game week, well, I just gave it to Bristol City and Hull for that amazing game. Both those teams, you look at that, well, Bristol were losing the game twice and managed to come back, and Hull were losing the game twice and managed to come back as well. Most important victory I gave to either Derby for that one against Cardiff or Birmingham for that one against Sheffield United. Goal of the game week could have been to Lee Tomlin on Tuesday for Forest, but I gave it to Kevin McDonald for Fulham as it was such a huge goal for them. Predictions, not too moderate week for me, 6 correct results with a couple of correct scores in there. Promotion, I'm still backing Cardiff to do it. I think they will win their final 2 games. And relegation, yeah, Sunderland of course now gone, and I still don't think Burton have got enough to get out of it, but I think the next game will determine for me whether Barnsley can get out of it as well. But it's looking bleak for both those teams. Okay, looking at the table then, lots to discuss this week. Wolves confirmed as champions with that win against Bolton. Cardiff remain in the top 2, but just by 1 point now, and Fulham do have a superior goal difference, so realistically Cardiff cannot afford to drop any more points. But yeah, if they do win those 2 games, they will be up. Villa sitting nicely in 4th place, and then Borough pretty good, 3 points ahead of 7th place Mill, and 6th place Derby 2 points ahead of Mill. Sheffield United still in it on 66 points, but looking a bit more unlikely for them now, although you never know what can happen. Leeds winning the race for 12th at the moment, although Sheffield Wednesday and QPR and Forest all creeping up to challenge Norwich and Ipswich for those 13th and 14th places. And at the bottom, well, I'd say Hull are safe at the moment, but Reading, Birmingham and Bolton are not safe by any means yet. Birmingham and Reading probably need 1 more point each, looking at those goal differences, and Bolton need to get 1 win at least, I'd say, to stay up. As for Burton, well, would be remarkable if they could turn it around, and they do play Bolton next, so if they win that game, they will be out of the bottom 3, so yeah, lots to play for anyway. Sunderland gone, but yeah, that's the table. Looking at our fixtures for game week 45 then, so never seen as many big games I think as this. Fulham against Sunderland on the Friday, Villa against Derby, that's a pretty big one. Or for Derby, Barnsley against Brentford, huge significance there for both clubs. Burton playing Bolton, pretty much the same there. Hull playing Cardiff, Norwich playing Leeds, Forest playing Bristol City, QPR playing Birmingham, Reading playing Ipswich, Sheffield United playing Preston, big game there. Wolves against Sheffield Wednesday, and then Borough against Mill is the late kick-off. So yeah, lots to play for in terms of the playoffs and relegation. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fascinating week of football, and yes, I will be there to cover it, and hopefully should get the video uploaded on Monday this time. It won't be as late as this one, but yeah, thanks for watching as usual guys, and I'll see you next time.